Hi class, I'm going to give you some video feedback. I'm going to look at your sites as a first-time site visitor so you can get an idea of the user experience. Even if I've looked at them before, I want to look at them from that perspective. So I'm just going to jump right in and walk through your sites and let you know how it's working, okay? Nice. I really love how this is feeling. It's interesting that this is moving with my cursor. Um, until I get down here. I'm not sure we want it to disappear. I love these fish. I love the colors. I like the text here in the drop shadow. I like how easy this is to read. You're linked up, perfect. You have your fictitious disclaimer in the year, copyright year. So let's see what happens. Okay. And this seems to be the same font as we have in your menu, so I do like that. A little bit of space there, but it's not too bad. I like how you have things as soon as we get into the page. It's not below. We don't have to scroll to get started here. I feel like there needs to be something here, or one long image or something, but everything is easy to read. So kudos there. Okay. It's great since this is fictitious. You can edit, and if you wanted to get it to where they have the same number of lines in a column, that always looks best. Like you have it here, right? Wedge of line, wedge of line. That makes the site very clean and adhering to a grid. I liked this, easy to understand. You have the addresses here. But what I'm looking for is going to be the schedule. So that's something you'll want to include. Here is the rotation schedule. You have the locations, but we need to have those. And for everybody, Monday and Wednesday are the same locations, and Tuesday and Thursday are the same. So if we don't need to multiply, have those different locations on those dates. I liked this a lot. I really loved how you could read this, and you've kept the background. Ordinarily, these videos can slow a site down, but I just, it looks terrific. And let's see, I do think you need to check to see how centered you are. I know this is responsive. When we change the size of the screen, it moves, but double check that everything is centered, right, with your footer and everything. That was the only thing about that. Love it. Okay, so you have the schedule here. It just needs to be on the location page. Okay. But everything is fantastic. I mean, you do have it. I wouldn't count off for it, but that is where you want it. And like I said, you can combine Monday, Wednesday, and Tuesday and Thursday, and that'll give you some space. So leaving a testimonial isn't the same as reaching out to the client. So you might still need a form for them to contact you. For the website that would be manned by the company. Okay. When you're creating sites for other people, and you are ready to create some small sites for people, maybe you have before, but most of you after week 2, you're able to start, taking on a small client. All right, well done, well done. You really have a great aesthetic going for it. Okay. All right. There was one thing, if I remember, yeah, you want to have the logo in the header so it's on every page, right? You want your client's logo in the header. Okay, if I select that, am I going to go to Facebook? It acts like it's going to, but you want to check those buttons out. This always looks good on black. And this looks really great. This looks like it's a large file, maybe. Maybe you've blurred it, or maybe the original was, but needs a little more clarity there. And so everything stays there. Terrific. Okay, good job here. You do want to go through with a fine-tooth comb to check your spelling on everything. Make sure you've gotten everything in there just so. Make sure your headers and things are using, yes, the same. This one has a different font, so you might want to check that out. Okay. Okay. It's quite a lot going on. We might thin that out a little bit. Perhaps using the Monday, Wednesday together might have a little less scrolling. It's easy to get lost on that. And you do want to bring it up a little bit. So you don't need this because you have it in the header, but you do want to bring up the locations a bit. Perhaps this can go on one line every day of the week, and that will give you a little space too, so we're not scrolling so much. But you have all the content. Different font here. And either we have an image or you were thinking of getting an image. Okay, and you want to delete these. So I'm familiar with this particular template option. Okay, close up some of that space. You might want to reduce the header, because I'm sorry, the footer. Right now you're not responsible for your mobile, but for a client, you will want that. And next year in web design, you will be responsible for it. It's easy to do, but it will give you a deep footer, you know, and not allow as much of the mobile screen for the actual content. So you want to, you know, try to be as discreet as you can get away with. And of course, you're going to need images here, or yeah. Okay, watch your caps. Okay, all good, like the way that is. You do want to remember that when you have a cover, like you do over here on the right, you don't want to cut off anything, especially the client logo, because they're sensitive about that, for sure. So make sure you are probably having to reduce this and give it more padding to make sure that doesn't happen. But this looks terrific, easy to read. Background, not so much because we can't have glassware because it's a food truck, right? And you know, this needs to be re-entered, or rather you need to go in and delete some of these returns. Yeah. Glassware, so we want to update that background or remove it. And of course this is placeholder. Okay. So there's some time you'll want to spend there. Okay. You may want to rename these files. It's not showing, but it would on a screen reader. You don't have to do it right now, but it's something you want to think about if you make a site for somebody else. You're going to rename your files to something short and descriptive for search engines and for screen readers for people who have low vision. And close up this space and watch your spacing here. Okay. So for more, we've got an extra page that we don't need. Now maybe we'll work on it, but that's very similar to that other page where you had the small thumbnails. But what we do want at the end is a contact page with the form. All right. So that's where this one is. It just needs, a little more time to polish it off, and that's what everyone is doing in week 4. Make sure people might make a high score this week. That you could even get a 90 or 100, but if it's not edited by next week, you won't still get a 100, for example. The edits need to be there next week in order to get 100. Hope that's clear. All right, nice work. Okay. Large file probably needs to be optimized, and we probably need either a little information here, or maybe we don't need it because we're still having to go someplace else to kind of get an idea of what's going on. It's not the whole story here, but it's something, and you've got everything above the scroll, and that's a plus. And your menu is here. Probably can make this a little shorter so that we can get into your menu. They like to see images, but I know that is more work depending on what template you chose. And so the other thing is either this is a box that you need to select and drag open so that these come up, or in your pages and menu, these are underneath something, and you need to bring them out from under it over here in your pages and menu. But very possibly it's just there's a box there that needs to be extended. Okay. Okay, good job having the logo in your header. These need to be linked up to the client's accounts. But other than that, you've got the strong basic site here. We do want to use the content they gave us mostly. You can cut it down, but that's been cut down quite a bit. You can have the story given to you edited, but this is more like a homepage content. So maybe that would be better over here. All right. And if you'd like, you can put in the news and events, or the events. That would be another page. All right. Great job. Good work. You probably have a few more things you'd like to do to it, but those are my edits there. Okay. Well done. Yay. Here we go. Nice. We have to be careful about glassware, right? It's a food truck. They don't have a indoor restaurant, so there's no glass in their food truck. Double check. Let's see, where was it? Down here. All right, your returns. Check your line spacing and all of that here, which is good. It's going to bring all that back up, and it won't be quite as much scrolling. We don't need an online order page, and the way I know it's going to automatically populate it, but the way you can take that off is you go into your pages and menu, and there'll be 2 columns, one with the list of pages and then one in between, and it will list your restaurant, and it'll have a gear next to it, It'll say online order. There'll be a gear, select the gear, and then delete this. So you don't need that, and it's just one more thing. Let's see. Okay, we're going to Wix, so we need to link those up. Double check these decorative border here, this line that's covering up the content. Let's remove this because it has indoor restaurant material, for example, and this. Okay. Good. I wonder what we have to have here is a link up here that says locations and is linked to the anchor line in your editor that will make it that link, that page up here, linked to the top of this section. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Here's something. We want to make sure that we are in the same order, that our navigation is in the same order of the sections as it is if we're scrolling. So if we're scrolling and now we're on our story, then the About Us, which is our story, would be over here, right? It's the next thing. And you've got events, which I think is your happenings, in front of that. So you want to swap those for sure and take that out. And then that probably after it, because this happenings is under the about. Okay, so does that make sense? You want it to be in the same order on the page in your navigation. So you're not, when they select this, they're not going rolling back and forth. Okay. Okay, let's see. Go ahead and update your footer down here and to the proper year, and put the disclaimer content down there in your footer. Yeah, so we're rolling back and forth. You may want to take this strip out that has the contact because you need to have a form. Take this strip out. Yeah, because you're not linked up anywhere. You're not losing anything. If you remove this strip and go to your pages and menu when you're in Wix and add a page and add a contact page and add the simplest one you can find, and it will pop up here and it will say contact. You'll delete this page in your pages and menu, and you'll keep the new one and you'll name it contact, and it will give you a new page. You won't need that, but it will link correctly, and that will be the quickest thing for you to do, so that your navigation and your page has everything in it you need and is functioning. Remove this. You can just select it and hit delete. You're probably thinking, of an online order, but right now they're just having a food truck that's kind of basic site. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, yeah, you've just got a little more time to spend. A couple of sweeping changes that will not be that hard, but it'll make a big difference. And we'll see where you are. Again, you want to have the logo in the header. That's important. Okay. All right. All right. Good job. Let's see here. You've got a good start. easy to read. This is clean. Truck schedule, good. Okay, and so this page is looking good. You do need your disclaimer. If this isn't your footer, then hopefully your footer isn't hidden. Yeah, that's your footer. You need the disclaimer down here. And this content has to be entered. Otherwise, it's not searchable by search engines and screen readers can't find it. It's just a picture of words, and they're very small words at that. Okay? So enter that content. Good. Okay, great. You got Tuesday and Thursdays combined. It was good listening to a tip. We do need the about content, a little more than that. You saw how much the last site had. They could edit down a little bit and that would be okay, but you need more. Let's take off this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 placeholder content. Good job having your logo in the header. And again, these, if you're using a news page, has to be entered text. It looks like you've created a placeholder for yourself. Okay, good. And these don't appear to be linked. So those can go, and you can just put, you can go over to your plus sign, add socials, and just have the icons if you want, or you can link these up. But that's what will happen there. Yeah, so you just got, a little time to complete it and continue to put your content in. So I think you know exactly where you need to go from here, all right? So, all right, everybody, this is the finish of this group before I move on to the next group of students. And hopefully you've watched everybody's so that you could get some ideas of what options you have. There's so many variations available to you, but you've got a good start. Make sure you set some time aside this weekend to complete what you're doing, and actually you're going to do that probably later next week, because this weekend you're going to be working on your professional site, which is just a draft, but you still want all the needed pages. Your work doesn't have to be stellar. It can be student work. That's perfectly fine. You will come into web design next year and you'll bring that draft and you will update it with new work that you've created in portfolio and different projects. So it will be a finished draft, but it is still a draft, and you will be working on it again. So don't worry so much about the actual project selections that you put in it. You only need 3. Okay, so all right, everybody, contact me with any questions whatsoever, ideally before Saturday. I do check my messages and emails on the weekend, but it is better for you to reach out prior to that, all right? All right, everybody, have a great evening, and I will be looking for any questions.